Oh.
Yeah, we straight chillin', serial killing, pre-cool villains on the mind, got you reeling. 5-star rated from the floor to the ceiling. If you catch a 1-star, no time for feelings. Got a demon DJ on the ones and twos, by the name Beelzebub, so don't get confused. So grab a seat by the fire, roast them all over two, and prepare to hear the legend of the straight chillin' crew.
What up, nerds, and welcome to another inclement episode of Straight Chilling, the weekly horror movie review show where you chill and we kill, slice, dice, and chop up yet another horror movie. My name is Bob. I'll be your host for the evening. This is episode 451, recorded Monday, November 27, 2023. Tonight we're talking about another Patreon pick. This was chosen by Brandon S. The movie is The Mist from 2007. Before we get into it, let me introduce everyone else on the show. First up, calling in from Washington, D.C., we got your boy Randy's. What's up, man?
What's going on, children?
Hey, how's it going? I'm excited to talk about this movie for the second time on a recorded podcast this year. Having seen it for a third time in the past 6 months. Holy
Randy,
shit.
you better have the most insightful comments in the world.
I don't know why you would. Don't even joke. That's not possible.
It's what
that's
we
not in the cards.
expect. Okay.
Repeat viewings have gleaned me very little, so.
Fantastic to hear. Lovely. Next up, calling in from Florida, you got your boy Soju. What's up, man?
Whoa, what up? It's sure boy, Savior Stains. Sorry, boys, we're gonna have to make a sacrifice tonight. Our arachnid lords demand it. They've chosen Randy.
Fuck you.
Chosen Randy Easy.
You.
You have to come and
Throw him out, boys. Throw him out into
Okay.
the mist.
Dude, I was watching that crazy docu-series, Escape the Twin Flame or whatever.
Yeah.
Savior Stains, man, that really just kind of leans into that shit is wild.
Yeah.
That shit is wild.
I mean, I've wanted to start my own cult for a while. So.
Dude,
We all know your ambitions for cult leader status.
apparently it's real easy
Very
to
well
do.
documented. It's not
Yeah.
typically the way of a cult leader to state it outright, but
You
well,
don't even have to leave the couch anymore to do
I
it.
like to do
apparently.
things a little bit different,
Devil
Uh,
made me do it, did he?
Last but not least, making his triumphant return to Straight Chilling. Everybody, welcome back our buddy Matt. What's up, man?
What's going on? There's no sword fights in this movie. There's no sexy vampires from space in this movie.
Well,
so
now,
I think I'm
you
here
can't
to be
prove
the
that.
Sacrifice. That's true.
That's in the eye of the beholder, I have to say.
I mean, there's some other dimensional aliens or creatures that look pretty
That's
hot.
true.
I've rubbed myself out to some weird shit, but
Tentacles?
yeah, let's do it. Let's do it.
It's a funky little tomato.
I can crank one out to damn near anything, Matt says.
Well,
Matt, thanks for sitting in with us again, man. It's always really fun having you on. Sword fights or otherwise. It's a good
Man,
time.
thank you for having me.
Yeah. For people who maybe haven't heard you on our show before, do you want to let them know about your sword school and sword podcast?
Yeah, so I run a sword club here in Jacksonville, Florida. We study historical European martial arts from the German tradition. So think those big ass two-handed swords from Game of Thrones. You won't be totally wrong. And we have a podcast where we talk about the historical sources that teach you how to fight with those, and we just go over them. And we're history nerds that talk about dicks too while we're at it.
Hell yeah. Swords and
Well,
dicks. What's
ain't that just the story of history?
yeah, kind of is. What's the name of the show and where can people find it?
Oh,
They might
it's
check it out.
Swords in Stereo, and you can find it on any podcatcher of your choice. And we haven't released an episode in about a year, but we're about to crank everything back up and get it going again.
Crank one out.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell yeah, brother. Awesome. Well, before we get into the main event, let's tackle a little bit of housekeeping real quick. This is going to be your final reminder. Our December poll is currently posted on our Patreon website. If you support us at the $5 level or above, you get the chance to vote on a movie we're talking about this December. The theme for December is merriment and murder. The movies you're voting between are Yule Log, Silent Night, and Christmas Bloody Christmas.
Bob, for the last time, because December is just a couple days away. How are
True.
those numbers looking?
Well, I have the exact percentages for you,
Thank
sir.
God.
I know you want
Wow.
them.
I want the exact numbers.
Well, you're going to get them. Yule Log currently sitting at 45%.
Oh.
Christmas Bloody Christmas, 41%.
Whoa.
Silent Night, 14%.
All right.
Wow,
so
competitive end on the end game here.
Yeah.
Close.
It's been creeping up. Okay.
Yeah, get your votes in before the end of the month, which is just a few days away. And we'll see what we're talking about this December.
Our
Neck and
Christmas
neck.
episode. What are we going to be talking?
I don't know.
I hope Yule Log wins just so I can hear the plot synopsis of
Dude,
Yeah,
be
no
amazing.
shit.
Man, that's going to be quite the chore for Bob
Yeah.
that week.
That's going to be about a half-hour plot synopsis.
That's when I quit the show. I'm done. I can't.
I can't handle this.
you hear that.
It
folks?
done
If you
broke
vote
my
for
brain.
Yule Log, Bob's gonna quit.
I'm gonna quit.
Ooh,
So,
don't tease the good stuff like that.
Christmas is about to come early. You'll never have to hear me again. Yeah, get your votes in. In other Patreon news, we're dropping a mini cast every other Friday per usual. This past Friday, we dropped a mini cast on When Evil Lurks, that new Shudder hotness. Spanish language film. It is super brutal and super fucked up, and it's definitely one that I recommend checking out.
Yeah, I
Chance.
concur.
It's pretty wild.
And then we'll all listen to your mini episode, Bob.
Slam it into your ears.
Not me.
Well, yeah, no one is surprised, Randy.
Yeah, good.
No one is
I
surprised.
just want to make it perfectly clear. I have no intentions of listening.
Fantastic. We'll have another mini cast in about a week and a half. I don't know what it is yet, so you'll just find out.
Something
You'll Find out.
special.
It'll be great. You're gonna love it.
It's going to be
You're gonna shit.
the best mini cast you've ever
You're
heard.
gonna fucking love it. That's all I got. I know you got some stuff you want to mention, right? Some things going on.
I do have a couple things. So all Christmas themed. Whoop whoop. Here we go, boys. Heading
A whoop,
into
a whoop.
December. A whoop de whoop. So first things first, new article up on the website that does a top 25 list of Christmas horror films. So if you're looking for something festive this year, we have a horror film for every day leading up to Christmas for you. A little straight chillin' advent calendar, if you will. So that is up on our website, straightchilling.com. Don't even need the podcast anymore. So you can check that out. It's currently up on the Instagram as well. So you can check that out there as well. What's another Christmas thing that's coming up? Oh, I had something else. Oh,
Christmas is coming up.
yeah, just like our what we did for Halloween is we are going to be highlighting all the Christmas episodes we have done previously. So those will be going up on our socials, mainly Instagram and Facebook stories, and then we'll save them up there as kind of like a little playlist. So if you're looking for something festive to listen to from some of the, and we've covered, some of the movies on the list, then you can check that out. We'll be highlighting those films. And then also, what? One more Christmas thing. I have a new episode of Creature Comforts coming out within the coming weeks, maybe next week. We'll see how it goes. But and I'm going to be talking about Eyes Wide Shut with Caitlin from Plug It Up. So really excited about
Did they sneak a
that.
candy cane into that movie or what?
Dude, that movie, have you seen that movie, Randy?
I haven't. No.
Oh, it's wild. It's
I hear
there.
it's
I'm aware.
real
I'm aware
horny.
of the broad
It
strokes.
is
Oh, yeah.
quite sexual, and
I
there
hear-
are.
I hear our boy Tom Cruise hangs dong. Is it true? Is it true?
Maybe. I can't remember.
What? You would
Wow.
There are a lot of yabos, though. Maybe he does. I can't remember. I'll go back. But yeah, so check that out on our YouTube page, and listen to me and Caitlin talk about a horror adjacent Christmas film.
Tight.
Dies tonight.
So in the festive mood.
Oh, solid. Damn, that's a lot of Christmas shit. Check it out. Get it while the getting's good. Rain Deasy, did you have anything?
No.
Okay.
No,
Last
I
thing I
didn't.
want to mention real quick is at the time of this episode dropping, we'll have just released a fresh, brand new episode of Let's Get Physical Media. Mike and I are talking about our October pickups, so check out Let's Get Physical Media everywhere you get your podcasts. If you like Blu-rays, 4Ks, DVDs, and shit like that.
Bob, October isn't Christmas themed. What are you doing?
I'm just ruining everything. I ruin everything. That's what I
Pumpkins. Come on.
pumpkins. Cool. Sounds like our house is clean.
Sounds like it. But does it really? Until there we go.
This house is clean.
Nailed it. All right, let's get into the main event. We're talking The Mist, and we're kicking it off with the back of the box.
What's on the back of the box?
Bob, you got that sweet, sweet box. What's on there?
I got the
That's a
sweet,
good
sweet
looking
box.
Yeah, it is a good looking box.
Now, all the ladies say so.
I support that box.
This is one of the many items that Mikey and I discuss on Let's Get Physical Media, our most recent episode. So yeah, this is the Best Buy exclusive Steelbook 4K for The Mist.
Wow.
Well,
Best Buy still does exclusives.
Yeah, they
actually,
do
not
for
for
now,
long.
but
Yeah.
Yeah, I
not
know.
for-
I
not for
thought
much
they were on a
longer.
thread there.
Yeah. It's a baller release. The art is amazing, and also it has a 4K disc for the color version of the movie and another 4K disc for the black and white version. So you can watch it both
That's
ways.
that's a good buy, Bob.
That is
that's
a good buy.
Hey.
If it didn't have the black and white,
Thanks.
throw it in the trash.
Yeah.
Throw in the
If not for
trash.
that, then trash.
It's a paperweight. So yeah, we're talking about The Mist from 2007, rated R, with a runtime of 2 hours and 6 minutes. This was written by, of course, Stephen King and also Frank Darabont. Frank Darabont, I think, just wrote the screenplay for this, and then he also directed it. Stars Thomas Jane, Marcia Gay Harden, Laurie Holden, Andre Brower, William Sadler, Toby Jones,
The entire cast of The Walking Dead.
Marcia.
The Walking Dead. Fucking
My
everybody.
girl Marcia.
Morris. That's my girl.
Marcia.
Mara. You added like 3
Marcia.
syllables to that name.
Marcia.
Marcia.
2 syllables.
Leave me alone.
Marcia.
Marcia Gay Harden. Plot synopsis brought to you by the back of this box is as follows. From the legendary Fright Master Stephen King and Academy Award nominated writer, producer, director Frank Darabont comes one of the most tense and terrifying films since The Shining. After a mysterious mist envelops a small New England town, a group of locals trapped in a supermarket must battle a siege of otherworldly creatures and the fears that threaten to tear them apart. Starring Thomas Jane and Oscar winner Marcia Gay Harden. Gentlemen, had we seen this movie before, and would we recommend folks check it out? Matt, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I saw this in the theater when it came out,
Oh,
and
sure.
I knew nothing about it, so it was quite the gut punch. But this movie's amazing. Go see it. Go buy this special weird double box thing Bob has. Watch it in black and white if you can. Yes, go see it.
Sweet. Rain Deasy, what about you?
Oh, no, not again.
Yeah, I've seen this movie. I watched this movie earlier this year and watched it to record on the topic of religion and horror with our mutual friend Nicole over at the Light and Shadow podcast. And we had a nice conversation that will certainly include less references to dicks and whatever else that we're going to have here today. So, yeah, I've seen it before. I've seen it a few times this year. I saw it for the first time in the black and white version this year. Thank you again to Nicole for providing that to me as a wonderful little gift. And yeah, I do recommend it. I think that this movie kind of gets it has a reputation with like just moviegoers in general that is very split, it seems like, and I'm definitely on the positive side. I think there's a large contingent of people that have a problem with the way this movie ends. I am on the other end of that spectrum. We'll get into more into that later, though. So yeah, I recommend this for sure, and especially the black and white version. It just adds that extra layer of Twilight Zone-ness to it.
Sweet deal. Randy has no problems, only solutions. Juice, what about you?
Yeah, I would recommend people check this out. I had seen this for the first time when we covered it way back in the day. This was a very early episode. I remember specifically watching it at the Twins. I may have been the only one in that sitting to be watching it for the first time, and blew my nuts off.
Sounds right.
Yeah, it was
Well, shit.
fantastic experience.
Thank God for
Loved
medical
it.
science,
Highly
am I right?
recommend. Yeah.
No nuts. This man has no nuts.
But yeah, it's a bleak film though, so there are going to be people I could see why people might not like the ending, or just not just the ending. It's a very bleak movie.
Yeah, it is.
So it's heavy. It's heavy-handed. Well, not heavy-handed. It'll weigh heavy on the emotions, but yes, I do recommend it a lot. Bob, how about you? You ever seen this before?
Yeah, I have seen this before. This is a re-review. You know, we did it long time ago, and I've seen it a handful of times since then as well. It's a great movie. It's a big, huge, giant bummer, so you got to be ready for that. But if you're in the mood for something a bit darker, yeah, throw it on. I think it's fantastic. That sounds like a resounding recommendation from all of us here today.
Yeah,
I do.
Yeah, let's see.
it do.
Right on. Slam it into your eyeballs. We will be spoiling the shit out of this movie, and here comes your warning.
Spoiler warning.
Bob, give me that plot synopsis in black and white, please.
I got it right here in black.
Don't you dare
and
speak in
white,
color, motherfucker.
and red all over.
I want the
God
gritty version
damn
of
you.
the plot synopsis.
All right.
God, I
Here
shouldn't have taken that LSD before this.
I can taste your words, man. So a severe thunderstorm rolls into Bridgeton, Maine, causing a large tree to fall on the Drayton home. David Drayton and his son Billy head towards town for supplies with their neighbor Brent Norton in tow, while Miss Drayton stays behind at the house. While inside the supermarket, they witness several police cars zoom by, and an injured man runs inside the store, screaming about something strange in the mist. A loud siren sounds, and then the store is completely engulfed by the mysterious mist. In the back room, bag boy Norm attempts to go outside to fix the store's generator, but is grabbed by a tentacle and killed. David and store clerk Ollie begin reinforcing the store's large glass windows, while Miss Carmody, a known religious fanatic, begins preaching about the end of days. Brent refuses to believe there's any danger at all in the mist and ends up leaving with a small group to find help. Another man leaves to retrieve a shotgun from his pickup truck but gets murdered by something in the mist. David ends up being friendly with Amanda Dunphy. She's a teacher, and she also has a pistol in her purse. She gives it to Ollie, who is a previous state shooting champion. Night falls, and several mosquito-like creatures land on the glass storefront. Then pterodactyl-like creatures swarm and end up breaking through the glass, killing several folks in the store. Carmody seems to be spared by a mosquito, which leads her to believe she's favored by God and begins preaching even harder. David leads a small group to the pharmacy next door for supplies, but several men are killed by spiders. And the following day, 2 soldiers end up hanging themselves in the back room. And Jessup, who is now the remaining soldier, reveals that the military were performing experiments to discover other dimensions, and they accidentally opened a doorway, letting these creatures in. Carmody demands, boring, right? Carmody demands he be sacrificed, and her followers end up stabbing him in the gut, throwing him outside, where he is killed by a praying mantis-like creature. David and his group prepare to leave the following morning, but Carmody forbids it. She then demands Billy and Amanda be offered as the next sacrifice to appease God. Before her followers can act, Ollie shoots Carmody twice, killing her. David's group is then allowed to leave, but Ollie and some of the others are quickly dispatched. David, Billy, Amanda, Dan, and Irene all do make it to the car. They drive to David's house and find his wife has already died. They continue driving till they run out of gas, and they find nothing more but mist, giant beasts, and further destruction. The adults eventually agree there is no other way out.
I don't even want to be around anymore.
And they don't want to be around anymore. David ends up shooting Billy, Amanda, Dan, and Irene with the 4 remaining bullets he has. He then exits the car to be killed, allow himself to be killed by the creatures. As he calls for them, they do not come. Instead, the mist starts to clear, and several military vehicles roll by with survivors in tow, including Brent and the group that first left the store earlier in the movie. And that's it. David's just left to deal with what he's done.
She's been traumatized. Is she okay?
Roll them
Wait,
credits.
what did you say about the survivors there at the end? What did you say?
The people that left the store earlier are like on the military trucks as they roll by.
All of them? No. The
Maybe not all of
woman.
them. I know the woman is, yeah.
The woman who
But-
had left before anybody else when they were all saying
Yeah,
don't
when
leave.
she was saying like, "Oh,
She's like, I have to
won't
go get my kids,
somebody- I have
nobody
to
will
go
help
get
me."
my-" But
Yeah,
not his
see me home,
neighbor.
see me-
His neighbor
Yeah.
was not on the
Do-
truck.
okay, so we just don't see him again.
No.
Once-
Oh yeah,
once
we
he
don't see
leaves-
any.
Okay,
They're
so
that's literally the only recognizable face I think we see on that truck.
is it?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Well, correction. Thank
Alright.
you.
You're gonna look at me and you're gonna tell me that I'm wrong?
Glad I was somewhat vaguely paying attention.
Yeah, no, I'm glad you are
Yoinks.
too. Yeah, good call. It's
Randy
very
was
much
not. That's
no.
okay.
I was playing with bumps. You know,
Yeah.
it's my job.
Oh yeah.
So-
Oh yeah.
It's what I bring to the table.
I'm going to go out on a wild limb here and assume that the three of us have not read this book. Is that correct?
What? You are
Great.
correct.
Read?
Right. Okay. So I know, Matt, you said you listened to the audiobook today, right?
Today I finished it like an hour.
Were there any like major changes to the story that stood out to you?
Frank Darabont changed a couple things. I think everything he changed was for the better.
Okay.
So Megan and David have an affair
Oh,
in the book, like because they all think they're gonna die and they get super depressed.
they just bang.
So they just go open the manager's office and lock the door, and then he feels guilty about it the rest of the time because he's trying to get back to his wife.
Yeah.
He's like,
His
probably
kid's
shouldn't
there
have done
too,
that."
right?
His
Was he
kid's
just like
there,
off
yeah.
fucking around?
Yeah, he talks about it like, we're all about to die. The despair, my caveman brain took over, and then the rest of the time he feels guilty about it. And Megan just doesn't bring it up again.
Damn.
There's no
Damn,
third
Steven.
soldier in the book.
There's no third soldier.
So the two that hang themselves in the book.
Okay.
The third guy they sacrifice, he's not in the book at all. So they added him to give a little bit of, so he can basically do the monologue and tell
Yeah.
you
The
all that,
info dump.
the info dump.
Yeah. Yeah.
The ending's different. The book is written as Dave's writing this all down for someone to find,
Mhm.
and they're at they drive off and they get to a hotel and they leave it in the lobby as they're about to go leave the hotel again.
Mhm.
And he left it there for someone to find, so you don't know what happens to any of them.
Okay.
He's just like, I got enough gas to go 90 more miles.
I mean,
And then
Sorry, go ahead.
the fourth change is they never actually get to see his wife's body.
Mhm.
They try to go to the house, and there's so many trees down they can't make it to the house. And he decides it's not worth wasting his son's life to just go look at her body because he knows she's dead already.
Okay.
So those are the four changes they made, and I think they're all for the better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
I like the solid ending in this.
oh, yeah.
I would not like this to be an ambiguous ending. I think that
Well,
would be a detriment. to the
comparatively,
story.
yeah. Like this is a gutsy ending, and like
Mm-hmm.
famously, Darabont, Stephen King is pretty. he's pretty on board with almost every adaptation of his work, almost. But he apparently like was very enthused by this ending and thought it was great, and like that's the mythos around it anyway. I'm pretty sure that's from Darabont's mouth, if I remember right, from a featurette. So like
Yeah.
his perspective
there's-
is that Stephen King was like very complimentary about the new ending.
Yeah, there's a little bit of trivia on that. So like I guess Darabont had like struck some deal with some production company, and they were going to give him a truckload of money to make this movie, but they wanted him to change the ending, but because it was too bleak, and he refused to change the ending, and he ended up making the movie for like half as much as he was originally going to get. And Stephen King, loved the ending. Apparently, he said it was the ending that he wished that he had come up with on his own.
It's
High
a
praise.
gutsy ending, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And like I think that it kind of speaks to the rest of the story a little bit better than total ambiguity. But I don't know. Go ahead.
I think him taking less money actually worked out in his favor too. Because
Absolutely.
he was trying to get the feel of a 50s horror movie,
Mhm.
and I guess he did a bunch of episodes of The Shield, and he brought a lot of that TV crew with him because they were cheaper, and they did a new guerrilla style that Frank doesn't normally do, where they're using handheld cameras and they're running through the crowd with the actors and pushing actors out of the way and stuff. I still watched the same featurette. He said like a traditional Hollywood movie crew wouldn't have done any of that, but they were down to do whatever Frank said.
Yeah,
He's
they
like,
were right in there.
Yeah.
I remember that. I think I saw the same featurette. It's very fucking fascinating that like this movie would have had a totally different feel. Like think about Shawshank Redemption and things like that. Great movies, beautiful shooting, all that stuff. But this feels like you're there. Like it's in the right moments, it really does feel very engrossing. And that's even with some CG that doesn't necessarily hold up for everybody.
There were even some actors that were like, "Hey, so we just did this shot. Are we going to do our close up now?" And they're like, "Already did it. Got that shit like 2 days ago. Let's keep going."
Those TV crews know how to work real quick because they have to.
Fuck yeah, they do. Yeah.
Already got it. Moving on.
Yeah, well, I like the ending a lot, and before I watch this again, I would say like the ending made this film. I still think if he changed the ending, it would be a very good film. But I like the ending because it stays with the consistent tone of how bleak the movie is. And it mostly is bleak from the very beginning. I remember one, and it still kind of is a disappointment, but I recognize it maybe more as a strength this time around. But I kind of was like remembering how quickly the lawyer goes out. And while I still kind of wish there was more push and pull between the religious side and the logical side and stuff like that, just him going off so quickly and like not being heard from again, that guy being eaten alive, like from the very beginning, walls crumbling down almost immediately, as far as like people's psyche, and just complete lack of faith in humanity. Because like, to be honest, I like the bleak ending, and I like that discussion where pretty much, Andrea from Walking Dead is the only one who thinks anybody is going to have any sort of decency, and everybody else is like, absolutely not. And like, that's how I feel, honestly. If anything was going to go down, I'd be like, everyone's going to go buck wild. And I love the ending. I love that it matches, but I see this time around how it consistently matches the absolute bleak tone of everything else.
Well, the Darabont was like, there's this one line in this movie that he referenced in that same featurette, I think, and there's that like you can pick out as clearly like, oh, that's the thesis statement. And that's when Toby Jones is like, if you put two people in a room together, they'll find reasons to kill each other. What is it? Humanity is fundamentally insane, I think is the line. And it's like, that clearly is like the whole thesis of this movie. We're all stumbling around in the mist, so to speak, and we don't know what the fuck's going on. And when the chips are down, you're going to do whatever you need to do to survive. And that means distrusting everybody, because nobody's trustworthy. Basically, everybody's feeling the same way. And it's like this like Aurora Boreas of self-destruction for humanity. So I mean, I think that all tracks with the ending we get. It's like they ultimately destroyed each other. They found reasons to kill each other in this insane situation where even when they loved each other, even when they cared about each other, even the people they cared about the most in the world, they found reasons to kill each other. And, like, I don't know that I wouldn't have made the same choice and had the same fucking outcome. You know what I mean? That's in the end of the day, he was wrong. And it's all it is stumbling around in this unknowable mist of the future, whatever's coming next. That's all humanity ever does. So I mean, all of that is a through line through this whole movie. What are you laughing at?
I was gonna wait for you to finish. I'm sorry. I just started to keep cracking myself up because I made a note as you were saying that. It reminded me of myself. So first there was a quote that said like, what, you have no faith in humanity? And he says none whatsoever. And then you were saying like finding the best ways to kill people. I made the last note on my phone. So talking about having no faith in humanity, you guys shouldn't have faith in me. I said, if it's me, I shoot the ladies and and the kid, and then myself, psych the old man out. He's left on his own.
Dang!
Whoa.
That's fucked
Jesus
up.
Christ.
Well, he would have survived, turns out, but
Psych, old man. I'm going out. See you, bitch.
Fucking Dale's like, what the fuck?
later.
Just gonna go
faith
find a
in you, man.
Winnebago.
Winnebago, man.
Yeah, I'll shoot you. Just wait your turn.
Yeah. Oh
You'll
yeah.
be
You're
last.
next. You're next. Oh wait, what's that? Yeah.
This
Good moves.
This movie kind of reminds me a little bit of The Thing in that it's like a very close quarter situation. Nobody can leave and nobody knows like exactly who they can trust. And everybody's coming up with different ideas of how to survive the situation. You're obviously just like putting yourself in that situation, like trying to figure out what you would do if you were one of these people, which is one of the things I love about The Thing as well as this movie. It's like, yeah, how would you navigate the situation where like things are coming to a head and it's about to boil over at any moment, and you're trying to survive and trying to save your son at the same time. It's just a really interesting idea for a movie, and it is sort of dark and random in like who survives, and like it almost doesn't matter like if you buy into like the religious zealotry, or if you're just trying to get home to your kid, or if you seem to be doing everything the best that you possibly could have. Like it almost just doesn't. People just die, and some people don't die, and it's like there's almost no real guarantee of anything, which is life. But it's just interesting and dark.
Also the thing too, I am not trying to convince anybody not to go outside, because honestly, a bunch of people who are like, puffing their chest and like being specifically aggressive and putting me down and kind of going against me. Man, walk outside. If anything, it gives me more information. Is he about to choke to death? Is his skin about to melt off? Is like, fuck you. Walk outside.
Well,
that
is an interesting thing that that is an interesting thing about like the Andre Brower character and all this stuff. He does kind of like it's his character is just one rung in a consistent breakdown of what you can consider authority or authority figures or society, all those things.
Society,
and eventually, all the way down to the bedrock of like the people who are supposed to know what's going on and know what to do and know how to help you survive. They can't help you. They have fucked themselves. They have gotten themselves killed. They have been wrong at every turn. And the Doom Speaker, the Mrs. Carmody character, has been consistently right. And, like that, whether or not she even is right, just those people being wrong makes her right enough for people to start, thinking that they can find meaning in this randomness. And that is like the story of humanity at its core. So people trying to figure out what the fuck is going on, not being able to, because who could?
We're dumb.
Like the more we find out, the less we know. Even like we're no closer to world peace with every bit of technology we develop. All those things are true. So, I mean, there's just so much richness in that story, and to make a little microcosm of that here, it's just such a unique way of doing it, and to do it with like a 50s B-movie aesthetic, especially in the black and white and things like that, while still maintaining a very like I don't know, like cerebral sort of like high thinking, high concept sort of point of view, is very hard to do, like as a filmmaker. So I think all of that comes together. I like this movie more every time I see it. I've been talking a lot. So
what did y'all think about the group of characters? Because they did feel very stock characters to me. Like, we got the cheerleader babysitter, we got the crazy bag lady, we got the uptight manager, and like they never got to be fleshed out, yet they wanted us to feel for them and understand where they're coming from. I think besides Ollie and the crazy lady, they're all just pretty much cardboard cutouts of people.
Yeah,
they are. To me, it kind of adds to the small townness of it, because sometimes it's kind of like that, where people fill in roles in a society that they feel like they're supposed to fill. And so I do like you pointing out Ollie being different, because at first I think, especially the way he was casted and stuff, he's a bag boy, that he would be not threatening or not particularly somebody who's, you know, that you're counting on to have your back or whatever. You know, you got the soldiers and stuff like that. So I like that swerve. I like some of the swerves of where some people just kind of peace out. You don't know a lot about them, but where that one lady, she's kind of looking after the kids. She's just like, I'm down in the pills, I'm out of here. And so, and even like the soldiers, I think that that's a good subversion of what a character is supposed to be, because I remember thinking, oh yeah, the soldiers are going to come into this somehow. They're going to have some weapons. They're going to have some know-how. They just peace out too. And then the other guy just gets sacrificed up. He like stands no chance. And so I do see like some of them are kind of cannon fodder, almost like the manager and stuff like that. But the ones we get, I think, are good enough for this story. Maybe they could have added a little more depth, but it doesn't gnaw at me. I don't
They
think.
do
What
a
do you
good
think about
job.
them?
With,
Sorry.
they do a good job with some of them, like the biker who tied the rope.
Yeah.
He came into his own right before they killed him. Like, oh, I care about this guy now because
Yeah.
he stood up for himself and he made a good speech, and then he immediately gets killed.
Yeah.
And
That's the Walking Dead way.
At least it was a good kill.
I honestly like. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Matt.
Oh no! I was agreeing with Bob. That was one of the best kills of the
It was a
movie.
great kill.
Cut in half by something.
Honestly, the more I think about it, like when you put that question out there, I started thinking about it. And when Justin was talking about it, I think that they're great the way that they are. Like they're kind of stock characters, but like Justin said, sometimes it's like that. People are stepping up to fill roles that they want to fit into society. They want to be a part of a bigger system and understand their place in the world, and the world wants them to do that too. They're pressured into those roles, whether or not they fit that particular role in the first place. But also like people find comfort in that. That's just what makes people comfortable, is to be something to somebody else. And I don't think that it's necessarily, I think those stereotypes exist for a reason. It's because there are uptight managers in the world that just want to like seem like they're doing a good job. They just want to feel like they're being a good manager. And that's what that guy has going on. There's, all these, like, there's bikers in the world who like, people think of bikers as like crank people doing heroin, selling shit, and doing Sons of Anarchy shit.
Yeah.
But for the most part, every biker I've ever met has been like somebody's nice grandpa or something.
Yeah.
Like, like it's not really a thing that like I think there's multitudes in people, but they're still trying to navigate their world the same way that they do in this movie, within the context of this movie, the microcosm that they're in. The difference is that what they thought they knew about the world starts to erode at those systems that they've come to rely on. And that's again, back to the breakdown of society and the breakdown of those roles. Like when the chips are down, who knew you could count on Toby Jones? Like on the outside appearance, he seems like the beleaguered older gentleman working at a convenience store, or at a grocery store in a small town. Who knew that he was like a dead shot who had philosophical thinking at his back and a clear head? Nobody necessarily knew that or expected that of him, but he could come into his own because the chips are down. And some people are going to do that, and some people are going to do the opposite. They're going to fall apart.
Some of the other characters that like really step up to the plate were like the older like man and lady. I can't remember their names, but they go along when they roll over to the pharmacy and all the spiders come out and stuff. And the older lady, I think, is the one that has the bright idea to like start torching them with whatever that spray was she had. And then the older man like takes a bit of wood and like stabs a giant spider to death with that. And then I think later on, when they're about to sacrifice the other army guy, I think is the point where she takes like a can of peas and stones Carmody with him.
It's right before they go to the pharmacy.
Right before.
That,
I thought that shit was hilarious. I don't know, some of the characters that you don't expect to step up definitely do, and the guys that you think will
peanuts in your face.
Don't. They put peanuts in your face. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. They are sort of largely stereotypes, but I think it serves the point of the movie in a way that it doesn't bother me.
I mean, they're archetypes more than stereotypes.
Sure.
This is the point of this telling the story this way is to take archetypes, remove them from the normal reality, erode at what they believe is true, and then see how they interact with each other. And that, I mean, it's like a game of Dungeons and Dragons. The characters that you get aren't necessarily there at the beginning. You infuse them in as you go. You sort of flesh them out as you go, to a lot of degrees anyway. And they adjust, they change a little bit. They maybe become more dependable or less, or they become more stingy, like whatever. Like Justin turns into a rat bastard apparently. So
Randy, you may or may not
Whoa.
know this, but Matt is a sex dungeon master himself.
It's true. I have dice in my pocket.
Oh my
And
god!
I'm also
show me
happy to
them
see it.
dice, boys. Show me them die.
Are they 20-sided?
Oh yeah.
Shit. Got the D20s on them in all times.
Well,
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, kind of like going off of that, we've kind of like danced around it. We've like kind of touched on it a little bit, but one thing that I wanted to bring up that was kind of touched on when Randy, you talked with Nicole about it, is the idea of Mrs. Carmody and whether she was right or not. And the thing about it is, to me, like through this watch with that in the back of my mind, it doesn't matter if she's right or not. I don't think she is, but it doesn't matter whether she's not or not, because the truth, but I mean the idea that is trying to go across, which I kind of agree with, is this is how it would still go down at the end of the world. With the breakdown, you're gonna have people just submitting to religion or superstition
they need an authority.
Out of nothing, and then that's going to turn violent. The point is, like, there is a power vacuum, there is a space to be filled, and that's gonna happen every time. That's what society through thousands of years has shown us, and that's what happens. So I mean, of course, like, there's a reason why there are traditions and superstitions of doing something to have a good harvest, or to do something to get some rain, or whatever. I mean, it's like at the core basis of our humanity. And so that breakdown, it kind of reminded me of Triangle last year. It's really just like a culture shift of, you have your place in society, and when that society breaks down, you're looking for your new place. You're looking to fill in. What role do I fill? Where do I go? What can I do? And I think it doesn't matter whether she's right or not. She's just an opportunist, like that's just how it is. And that's kind of the real horror of it. Like, I don't think that these interdimensional demon things really give a shit about this woman, like, but
I ultimately agree with that, but the movie does take special pains to kind of like, and I chalk it up personally after thinking about it, like this question of whether or not she was right haunted my dreams after we had that conversation on Light and Shadow podcast.
No.
But it was like, it's like, it doesn't really, like, I think that they show so much of her being right, and show her in like in a crucifix repose, and show her like it. You're right ultimately that I think that it doesn't matter. She's filling a power vacuum, all that stuff. But I think that it's showing just how quickly things fall apart when somebody, no matter how crazy you thought they were from the beginning, happens upon the right answer. And I think that showing us, I think it's a little bit of like grim. I think it's just more of despair. It's like the grimness of like, yeah, she's your Christ figure now. Like, she's the crazy lady from the beginning. People are turning to her because she just happened to be right about a few things. It's just kind of like a little bit, it's interpretable that to say that she was right the whole time, because literally everything she says that will come to pass comes to pass. And she's a huge piece of shit, but she ends up being right. And the way that the movie depicts that is like, showing her literally as a Christ figure, and that plays out exactly. She turns out to be a martyr. Like,
and also she demands Billy and Amanda be sacrificed.
Yeah.
And then Ollie kills her, but then at the end of the movie, when Billy and Amanda are shot to death, like, everything clears up and goes away.
Yeah, every single step that she claims turns out to be true. And I think that while I agree with what you're saying, Justin, that ultimately it's a power vacuum situation, and that's probably the more one interesting thing. It's also interesting to take that as its own question of like, so what is this movie saying about that? If this is the breakdown of humanity, and the only person that was right the whole time is a fucking a shaman who just we think happens to be right, but ultimately is right at every turn, like maybe there's some mysticism that you could argue is at play here.
Well,
I wouldn't, but
we also have David, who's the yin to her yang, where you know, he is the ultimate stock character in here. He's literally just there to say the stuff that we would want to do.
Yeah.
And like, so like we're supposed to put ourselves in his shoes, and we're like, he's making the right decisions just like I would. Oh, he made another good decision just like I would. And we get to the end of the movie and like, fuck, I guess I died.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
maybe I should have followed the crazy lady. But
Yeah,
you don't want to do that. You're like, no, that was wrong the
Yeah.
whole movie.
Or you could have just left and actually walked that lady home at the very beginning when she asks for help, and apparently you would have survived.
Honestly,
which is not the sane thing to do, but
It's
Well,
not. Yeah.
that's honestly the thing that kind of bothers me the most, more than Miss Carmody being right. That woman kind of being right bothers me because of the way it presents it at the beginning and at the end. And I wrote this as a note. This was my first note of loving how bleak the movie is, because this woman is begging for people to help her, and kind of this is the beginning of the breakdown of society where she tries to appeal to their moral natures. Like, aren't you going to walk a woman home? My young kids are out there. And it's like, this gas could be poisonous. We talk about all the time of the polite, dying because you're polite.
Yeah.
It's like, you want me to walk out into a deadly, mysterious gas because you're a woman? But then her being right at the end of like, see, if you were just a kind, good-hearted person and weren't back at the store tearing each other apart, you would have lived. It's like,
I think
I don't know.
I think it speaks to the sort of chaotic nature and randomness of life, how things play out, man.
Yeah.
You just really have no idea. And I like that about it, actually. It's like there's no guaranteed formula that you can plug and play and just survive this. You have no idea what's
I
going on.
totally agree with that. That's the thing that I take away from that. Like, I'm glad they included that even at the ending, because it is just like it's random rolls of the dice, like ultimately what this movie is saying, like, to me, is that we have all these different like powers and authorities or whatever. They can all break down, they can all be faulty, they can all be cruel or ineffective or whatever. We're all just trying to find our way through that stuff as characters in this mist situation. And in the end, it's just a total crapshoot. You might end up killing your own fucking son in an hour of desperation, and then find yourself face to face with somebody that you thought was dead. Like, like it's like Rob said, I think it's all about like the chaos is, I think, the real core of this, the chaos that causes us to cast about for those authority figures and for roles in society and for something to do, something to make things better for yourself and others, mostly yourself, though. Like, I think that all tracks. And as much as I also agree that like I would never have gone out with that lady, and like, it's like, no, I'm not, like, you're right. Like, the smart money is on not going into the mystery mist.
Well, and it's kind of the bitterness that goes along with it too, and then that kind of knowing look at the end, because as she leaves, she says like, I hope you all rot in hell. And it's that kind of like bitterness that sticks around because it is the beginning of the breakdown. Then everyone is just scrambling. We see, I like the scene where Tom Jane, he just, at the very beginning, he's going to go check something out. He sees the group is already gathering. He feels excluded. His neighbor is chatting with all these people, already getting people together. And so I don't know. It's just something about that bitterness of like, you didn't help me. I hope you all rot in hell. I made it to the end. I mean, I know it is right that it's all just a roll of the dice, that nobody is correct because you have no idea what's happening. Nobody knows anything that's happening. So
I think that's just what sets in at the end. But I can see what you're saying.
It's just
Well,
a
also-
weird
Looked
kind
like
of
he got something.
exclamation point. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, from a storytelling standpoint, like they just kicked us right in the balls. So like
Yeah,
having her
yeah.
show back up is a little glimmer of hope. Like we're sitting there holding our balls. We're like, at least someone lived, that we know.
Mm.
And he might have just put it in there so we didn't leave the theater suicidal.
Maybe,
Yeah, maybe.
maybe.
A
But
glimmer of hope at the very, very end. Yeah.
If he would have just swerved and not shot the old man, he
Dude,
I don't know
would've
why
never
they
known.
like. Go ahead, Bob.
The moment where they all run out from the store and Ollie gets killed and the gun falls on the hood of the truck and he like reaches out and like really goes well out of his way to retrieve the gun. If he would have just drove off in that moment, like his son would still be alive. It's that one little moment, that one
That's true,
single
too.
little change,
Yeah.
Like,
They'll gotta choke you all to death.
one at a time. Come here.
Also, I know you don't know how to deal with interdimensional demons.
I
get
do.
it. But when things that look like giant fucking bugs or mosquitoes show up on the window, don't turn on a bunch of fucking floodlights and shine it at them. That
Yeah.
was driving me in. They keep turning on more lights as the bugs keep landing on the windows. I'm like, these
Well,
look like
yeah.
bugs. Why is your instinct to shine lights at them when our bugs are naturally attracted to lights? What the fuck are you doing? What the
They're
fuck
seeking
are you
information
doing?
and they don't know what the fuck these things. I don't know. I think that was all just part of like the tension play of the movie. I think that's
Yeah.
just good visual storytelling. Is like, oh shit, look at what they're doing.
It
Oh
could
no,
be, yeah. It's kind of like it reminded me of the Jurassic Park bit where she's trying to
Yeah.
turn the
Yeah.
light off and she's panicking, but these people just keep turning on more. Turn on the floodlights.
Well,
I'm like,
he
what?
also-
wait, she's trying to turn the light on. I'm sorry, go ahead.
He entrusted the lights to the dumbest guy there. And he tells the guy, he's like, listen, if there's a problem, run around and turn all the lights on.
Yeah.
And then that guy doesn't have, he can't think for himself enough to go like, maybe
Yeah.
not this time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. And by the way, in Jurassic Park, I don't think she's trying to turn off the light. I think she's trying to signal to Alan or
At
to other
first,
people.
but then the little kid is
Yeah.
like, turn off the light, and she's
Okay.
like,
Yeah,
I'm
I
trying,
forgot
I'm
that part.
trying.
It's
Okay.
going nuts.
Yeah.
I was like, because I remember her being like, please
No,
help,
yeah.
like that shit. So, but yeah,
Bunch
that's
of
ultimately what they.
idiots.
I mean, that's the same thing they did, but it's
Stupid
like just on a
kids.
broader scale of more people and bigger panic that all think that they're doing the right thing by
Yeah.
seeing what this new entity is and trying to understand
Yeah.
what it is without having any fucking clue.
Speaking of stupid kids, one of probably my favorite scenes in this actually is when the stock boy or whatever just like gets it in his head that he needs to go outside to fix the generator, and that Jim guy who's like kind of the country bumpkin who's like sticking his chest out trying to act real
Yeah,
tough
what's that
up
fucking
against
actor's name?
Tom Jane, and like the kid ultimately dies. He's trying to help, he's trying to be helpful, but like Tom Jane's begging him not to go. He does anyway, and he dies. And then that fucking Jim guy standing there not doing a damn thing to help. And after the kid dies, he's like, "Oh man, I'm sorry. You should have just said what you meant better. I
Well,
didn't know
well,
what
he's
you meant."
he's in shock.
He is.
And
I
he's
just
an
thought that shit
idiot.
was
He's
funny,
Yeah.
like,
clearly painted. You're told to hate that character. William
Sure.
Sadler is the actor, and he's like one of
Oh,
the
He's in
okay.
best character
Shawshank
actors in the
too,
game.
right?
He's in
Yeah,
Shawshank. He's
Yeah.
fucking Death and Bill and Ted's Bogus
Yeah.
Journey.
Yeah.
He's the
Oh.
best. He's in fucking Die Hard too.
He's
Like,
always a
in
bad
everything.
guy, right?
Is he in? Yeah.
Or
Well,
like
not
always
all
a
of those, actually.
negative.
He's in the
kind of.
very first episode of Tales from the Crypt. He runs the
Oh, yeah.
electrocution chair. He orders a cheese sandwich. It's weird.
Oh.
Well, now I'm
He's
hungry.
a fucking great I just like there's some movies I've seen him in where he wasn't a huge piece of shit, and I just can't think of what they are. But yeah, I love him. Anyway, but you're like, the movie wants you so badly to hate him because he is a stand-in for every stupid person in society. Like, he is like the poster child for
Well,
idiots
yeah.
who think they know what they're fucking talking about, and then when they realize they don't, they look for whatever authority figures there, and he just latches himself to Mrs. Carmody because she's right about something once, even after he told her to go fuck herself in so many words.
Well, it's the same.
Something-
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna just to touch more about that whole situation. So like this kid dies, and then they get a piece of the tentacle, and then when they poke it, it like melts and vanishes. So there's no like physical evidence necessary. Like some of the people see it, like Ollie does. Not everybody does. So like there's naysayers, like his neighbor still doesn't believe there's anything in the mist, and there's nothing killed this kid. But they never offer up an explanation as to like where the fuck this kid now is if he's not dead. Like what has happened to him if he's not dead? I guess he could have just walked out in the mist and never come back, but they don't really like talk about that.
It's a huge like blood trail too.
Which
true. Honestly they could have swerved in that, and
but he would not go and look at it.
It could have added a tense situation where they didn't believe that a tentacle grabbed him, and they're like, "Did you kill this kid?
Did you murder him? Yeah,
did you murder?"
That's
this
true.
Kid?
I don't know if this movie had a lot of
like,
space for that, but
I guess you could argue like he prefers to have the blissful ignorance. Like if there is something there, then he now knows and can't deny it. But if he doesn't look, then he doesn't know, and he would just prefer to not know. Like,
and he's blinded by bad blood, like pre-existing things that exist. It happened between him and David, and then these other bumpkins in the town. The only sources of information here, and then a lowly bag boy who he doesn't think much of. These are the only people telling him he has reason not to trust these people in his normal day-to-day, or at least he thinks so. And so these people are telling him something that is truly very hard to believe, even with all that evidence. I don't know that I would have believed it. Like, and he reacts like not just negatively, not just like, no, I don't believe you. It's like, no, fuck you for doing this. I will fucking fuck you, just fuck off. Yeah, I'll go shoot your ass and fuck you. And I can't believe you would try and con me this way. And like, it's like an overcorrection based on the information that he has already, and that's not completely without merit. That's not like an illogical thing, but he reacts in such a big way that he's unable to. He won't even go back there and see it. And it's like, so what if one of them jumps out and goes boogity boogity, and he's like, okay, yeah, like I thought, you lied to me, and I'm gonna go tell everybody you lied to me. But instead, he would have seen a fucking blood trail, and at least that's some physical evidence that something went down. And might have changed his tune once he saw that. Like, I don't know. This is again like it's chaos. People are trying to fulfill what they think is their role in society. He thinks he's a leader. He sees himself as that, and he is at that moment. And he ultimately leads people to presumably disaster. Like
Jurassic Park really got it right, huh?
Well, it's also the first instance, we touched on this. I think it was in Brooklyn 45, where you get to that point of the kind of desperation. Again, it does a really good job of putting you in Tom Jane's shoes, because it's that desperate feeling of logic has gone out the window. You start and you try to reason with somebody, and you think that you're being as clear and reasonable as possible, and it just keeps denying it to the point where you're of desperation. You just have to beg somebody, don't do this, or like, hey, don't go out there, or please come look at this, or like, please just try, like, what could I do? And coming up against that situation, to me, like I was saying, that's one of the like scariest things from Brooklyn 45 and this movie, of finding yourself in a position where you're hitting this wall of illogical reason, where there's nothing that you can do to save your own life, to save somebody else's life, and just that complete feeling of desperation. I think it is really humanizing, and just a real type of horror when there's monsters outside, but you're facing these people, and all you want to do is just be on the same page or agree on the most basic thing of like, let's all agree there's fucking monsters, how do we survive? And just not getting that in response.
There's no I in team, but there is an I in meat pie.
There's an I in live, and I plan to live, boys.
Oh well.
Sure. I promise. Do you guys have any other major points you want to touch on before we rate this thing?
I think we should talk about the CGI, because I think that's kind of the elephant.
We should really just talk about it as a film, like as a piece of entertainment too. So, but start with the CGI.
Did it look better in black and white than in color?
I think it did. Yeah,
I kind of imagine it's got to. Yeah,
it still looks like a little too smooth but
Mhm.
it covers up some of the blemishes.
Not
I
as
thought.
shiny.
Yeah.
And honestly,
yeah.
like this is the kind of things that they design. The designs, like the actual just purely how they are structured. The monsters are cool. Like they look interesting
are
and they're like
cool.
complex enough. So like, and also just the kind of things that they are, these unknowable beings, it makes a lot of that smooth over as well. I
Mm.
personally never had a huge issue with most of the effects in this. I think the tentacle is maybe the worst of it, which is crazy because it's the first thing we see, and it is I kind of like think that I don't know what it could be, but if there was some other like better effect there that other than a tentacle, that it would have like maybe sold the fear a little bit more earlier on. But at the same time, like it makes for that great Andre Braugher line. He's like, "You think that there are tentacles from Planet X coming to kill us?
Hmm.
You want me to believe that?" And it's like, yeah, that sounds fucking unbelievable. Of course, like I get where this guy's coming from. So it's a little bit of a push and pull there, but I think it's
wish
a failing of its time and place and time.
Yeah.
I wish they just would have made that room darker. I think that would have fixed a lot. If they were holding flashlights, and
Yeah.
I think that would have covered up a lot of that bad tentacle vibe.
Well, the mist,
That's a good
like
point.
the creatures that stay outside in the mist, that definitely covers up some of the
That's the thing.
blemishes.
Yeah, you're right. I mean,
Yeah.
that's even I made a note at the very end. I love that they included the shake and the legs and the general design of this last thing. But there's this moment where they get too close. It gets too clear and it looks, and it's like, man, if you would have had the very ending scene where it's walking away, the very beginning scene where you see the fucking legs and you move up and you get a good general sense of its silhouette with the tentacles, and not done the thing where it like turns its head or it like looks down, whatever. There's just some like moments like that of it's too lit with the tentacles. You know, it looks so, or it's so effective and so scary when it is a silhouette. But like when things are landing on a person too, I think that's even when they're landing on glass and they're separated, I think you're okay. When it's on a person and there's that separation of what's real and what's not, it's the worst to me. Because even that big giant spider at the end that's coming, or not at the end, but the pharmacy scene where it's coming out of the mist, that's still okay to me. That was still, and even the little things coming out of the body, because they're kind of obscured, but I don't know, the mosquito landing on the girl where it stings her and Mrs. Carmody and stuff like that look janky to me.
Really, those are the parts
unfortunately.
I thought looked the strongest.
Really?
I think the more angular creatures in general just look better. Like, again, like to me, the tentacle was the weakest one, and I think that's because it is fleshy and like
Ooh, yeah.
there's like less, like the more like angular detail you get in there, the more you get to hide in shadows, the more you get to like hide in stark relief and shit like that. I don't know, and like that scene with Miss Carmody, it does get maybe it might get a little bit too close, but I think for the story it works. Like that is such an important scene for that character and for the development of what happens next, that I don't really see any way around that. And then ultimately it leads to one like the fucking gnarliest kill in the movie, aside from maybe the spiders in the guy's stomach, which is the stock girl getting like the worst fucking pussy cyst I've ever seen in my life on her neck, and then just fucking keeling over. That shit was rough.
That was rough.
Shit.
Look, Betty, you have gonorrhea.
Damn.
We've all been there. Wait, sometimes 4, 5, 6 times. You know?
Just another flare up, you know?
Oh, Mr. Bob, you're back.
Give me gonorrhea 3 times. I guess shame on me. I guess.
I guess.
But who could blame me, really?
You're my best customer, Mr. Bob. We'll clean you right up.
All right,
Dude,
bring me that dick drip and I'll clean you
I've got
right
a
up.
coworker that has made the mistake several
What's his
times.
name? First and last.
Several times. Jesus.
Yeah. I don't. Well, yeah, let's go and rate this thing. If you guys have any other things you want to mention, do it as we're rating it. Out of 5, Matt, why don't you kick us off, man? How do you feel about The Mist?
All right, I got a couple pros and cons we didn't bring up. One there's a couple times where it fades to black and then it fades back in, and I think that gives it a made for TV vibe that doesn't really work well for this movie since it's already a 50s style schlocky monster movie, and it's already got the bad graphics. So it just adds more to was this a sci-fi original? So I wish that wouldn't happen. The biggest thing for this is the rewatchability is low. I'm sorry, Andy. I know you had to watch this 3 times this year. Once I watch this, I need to for a good year just step back and let it digest before I go back in. Another thing is I remember this can't really be helped, but right at the end when I'm feeling horrible and the credits start rolling, you see the fucking Weinstein's name, and I was I'm already feeling horrible, and now I have to think about these fuckers. They should go in there and erase that. Yeah,
it's a chaotic world. They couldn't have predicted that.
Yeah.
But some pros. I love post-apocalyptic stories, and this sets up a world that I just want to explore more. I think I want to go watch the TV show now. I had steered away from it because of how bleak this was. I was do I really want to watch 8 episodes of just me getting kicked in the nuts?
Yes.
Yeah, but now the answer is yes. It also reminded me of other movies, you brought up The Thing, where they just show how thin the veneer of civilization is, and this is basically Lord of the Flies for adults.
Yeah, totally.
And it also reminded me a lot of Night of the Living Dead. It's people stuck in a place dealing with a problem, and then they automatically form sides. I think when you get done watching this movie, one of the best parts of this movie is you keep thinking about it. You're what would I would have done? Would I have done what David did? Would I have shot her way earlier? Yes, probably. Stuff like that. It's a deep movie, so you forgive a lot of the stuff that's wrong with it. And then I have some favorite moments, when the rope turns bloody. That's such a great moment done cheap. They added a part where the bottom half of the torso is in the parking lot, and then they just cut to it 20 minutes later, and they show a monster drag it off. They didn't have to add that, but it adds a lot to the world. You're oh yeah, they're still out there. Crap. The shot of them carrying the soldier, where they shot him from above, he's in a mosh pit. That is
crowd surfing.
That is an amazing shot, and it made you feel so much sorry. If they had shot that from ground floor level, I don't think it would have gave half the impact it would have gave from them shooting it from above. And then at the end, when he goes to shoot everybody, and they pan back and just show the lights inside the Jeep, that's masterwork cinematography. That's one that sticks out in your head for a long time afterward. So I'm going to give this bad boy a 4.5.
Nice. Very favorable. 4.5 from that. Juice, what about you?
I'm going to go down my list here. Yeah, I really just liked how bleak it was and how it stuck with that. It didn't really pull its punches, and I appreciated that. Even, finding the mom at the end wrapped up in the web, we saw what happens to those people, and so to see someone you love in that position is just really bleak. So cool. The setup of the culture switch of just the power vacuum, and this, Triangle last year, of this is not the world you knew, and the people who are at the bottom can easily rise to the top if they jump on the opportunity quick enough, or if they have because even Tom Jane, he's the most capable, he's doing all the shit, and still he's not the leader, he's not the person on top at the end. He doesn't, despite what he's done for all these people, he's still only got this ragtag group, and he's the odd man out. So very interesting. I wrote people are garbage. I liked the line too. Matt touched on this with the biker of the biker kind of coming into his own, his little speech of, I believe in God too. I just don't think he's the bloodthirsty monster that you make him out to be. I thought that was some gray areas there, the neck kill, the sting. Great. Yeah, I wrote, it doesn't matter that if the crazy lady is right. The point is that people will always believe that they are right, no matter what. So that's a potent kind of statement there. You don't have faith in humanity, none whatsoever. Love that line. I wrote, when you go to a pharmacy, you see this all the time. People in a post-apocalyptic world go to a pharmacy, they're reading the labels. Fill the bag, take everything. What are you doing? Why are you reading labels? Toss it in the bag and haul your ass.
They're trying to make sure they got the Viagra.
It's just like, do we have this right thing? It's like, take it all. It's small. It's a little pill bottles. Throw them in the bag. You've got 9 people. You can carry the pills.
What'd you get? Christ. Well, we got 19 different off-brand Viagras and one Aleve.
We're plowing tonight.
Welcome to the orgy.
The ladies kind of spiel, her talking about like walking on the moon and shit, like we shouldn't walk on the moon. Like that's just like that God is insulted by that. Now he's powerful enough to stop us, but he's just gonna be insulted by like you damn sons of bitches walking on my moon. Like,
that's my summer home.
Also I like the point of like, once the woman sacrifices somebody, you feel like completely justified in murdering her. But I would have been like, man, that bitch would have been gone a lot sooner than that. She's drinking the milk. I love that the easiest way to make somebody so despicable is to have them just enjoy drinking milk, because you see that shit all the time where you want to make
Mr. Rogers a real piece of trash.
Make somebody like a real weirdo or something, and they're just drinking milk all the time.
Counterpoint, the girlfriend in Get Out, no milk. Total piece of shit.
Just cereal.
True.
Still insane.
True. Fair enough. The music at the end is also really dope when they're driving through, and it's like really epic and dark. Love the legs.
Love some legs.
I love it. Also too, I said there's just 5 of us. Sit on someone's lap and I'll shoot you both like through each other's head. Come on, let me come on.
Let me get in on this bullet action.
Also too, that one moment where they're all running and there's monsters everywhere and you're in the mist and they're honking the horn like, bah, bah, come here this way. I'm like, you fools, you damn fools. Why are you honking the horn? So anyway, those are really nitpicks. I really do like this movie, and the CGI does kind of affect it, but like Matt was saying, is that it's so deep and it poses so many good things that, it's easy to gloss over that, because what they're saying in that moment, even like Randy said, that scene is so important. And the thing about this movie is somebody could go in and touch that up and it would be just fine, update the graphics.
George Lucas is free.
Yeah. Or you make it black and white, and I'm sure it improves it a lot in that situation. So I really like this movie. It does have some of those like little chintzy feeling moments, but for the most part, for the budget and everything, I think they did a really, really, really good job, and it says a lot of great things. I'm also going to give it a 4.5.
Some 4.5 from you.
Bob, out of 5, where are you going to rate The Meast?
The Meast. Yeah, I obviously like this movie quite a bit as well. I think we touched on most of the points that I would want to. So something that I don't know that we like really highlighted. Something I like about this movie is how it sort of puts like religious zealotry on the same level as like completely losing faith in humanity. Like these two extremes are, polar opposites of each other, are like basically leveled out because nobody's really winning on either side in this movie. If Tom Jane would have just maintained some faith at the end, he probably wouldn't have shot his son and those other fine folks in the car. And it doesn't really work out too well for Carmody either at the end of this. So like it just sort of like balances the scales where like these extreme ideas are not the way to go in a time of crisis. It's the gray area, stick together, work together.
Mr.
And
Peacemaker over there, Bob.
It is. I am a 9. That's what I do. I like that about this movie. This is a very 9 movie. I think this is one of the most infamous horror movie endings, like, of all time. Like, if you're gonna run a top 10 list, this would probably crack the top 3. I would have to say.
I'm sure What Culture has made a lot of hay out of this movie.
Yeah. I quite like the bleakness of this movie. I like the bottled style film. We've talked about this before on the show. Similar to Brooklyn 45, we all like that a good bit. Movies like this are just interesting. You get to watch people form their own opinions and try and survive these tight-knit situations that are difficult to maneuver and you try and find a way to survive it. And those are just interesting. Lord of the Flies type movie with some cool Lovecraftian tentacle-y monsters. It's good shit. I like it. And the 2-hour runtime, like, flies by. It really flies by. You could add another 10, 15 minutes to this probably, and it'd be totally okay because it's just well written and it's interesting. I'm going to come in with a 4.5 out of 5 as well on this. Randy, how do you feel?
The pressure's on. Peer pressure.
Pressure's on. Oh God, there's so much pressure. Oh God,
Nobody's listening.
Oh yeah. All right. So yeah, I agree with most of what you guys have said. Obviously, we've kind of like circle jerked on this movie a little bit. I don't agree with you, Matt, on the point that it's not rewatchable. I have like jokingly complained about watching this movie multiple times this year, but honestly, like, I haven't regretted one viewing. Like, it's pretty, once you get past the bleakness of it and sort of internalize that and like go understand, I like sort of like the broad scope, the tent pole that is what's going on in this movie and what this movie is kind of like saying overall, I think it makes the hard pills easier to swallow, and it makes it easier to sort of like focus on granular details that add so much richness, because there is so much richness in this movie, like conceptually, visually, even like there's so much to love about it, so much to talk about. And if there's one thing that I know is like a good horror movie with a lot to talk about afterwards is like that's my heart spot, man. That's where I want to be with a horror movie, especially when it can still bring like fucking weirdo creature feature type shit. Like, you bring in like style and panache, especially the black and white version has such a style to it. I don't know. It, like, again, it's got that Twilight Zone feel. It's got obviously Stephen King going on through it. It's got a lot of things in it that just, I don't know, just makes it so fun to ruminate on and look at and think about. I have very little negative to say about this movie that I couldn't and am not inclined to write off as being a nitpick or something that, you know, you could write off in one way or the other. The only thing that I, honest to God, think that I might like ding it for sitting here right now is some of that CGI. And it's hard to do that when it's like, it's on the budget it is because of the story it wanted to tell. It's in the era that it's in. And honestly, like, this came out in when was it? 2007. For that era, it's not the worst CGI I've ever seen by any means. Yeah, like, it's pretty good for its era. Yeah. And they do conceal a lot, maybe not quite enough. All that to say, like, that's me equivocating on the one negative that I will say is that some of it is a little bit hard to swallow. I think probably the worst of it for me is when the stock boy has the tentacle around him. It just doesn't quite look like it's in the same world. So like little moments like that, little nitpicks like that are really the only things that I want to ding it for, because everything else I think is, it just, even the inconsistencies add more richness because you can think about things in a different way and you can find new perspectives on it. It robs, like, you guys are right. Like this Brooklyn 45, these like bottle movies where people are desperately trying to achieve a goal at risk of death or dismemberment or whatever else, and having those paradigms shift and change and having things break down and reform. Those are some of the most interesting movies out there. I just really love everything this movie's bringing to the table. So for me, I was oscillating between a 4.5 and a 5. So I'm just going to hit it with a 4.75. I think this is a fucking great movie. And on the right day, I might just give it a 5 anyway, you know?
Brandy's got to be difficult. Thanks, Matt.
What's the math, Bob?
Respond!
Randy's 4.75 is going to put our aggregate at a 4 point. We'll round up to a 4.6. So as per usual, when you guys pick a flick for us to review, we encourage you guys to send in either a voicemail or an email with your own rating and review for the movie. And Brandon chose to send in an email. Juice, do you have that pulled up?
I do. Here we go. What up, gang? It's the Sasquatch Her. Thank you again for checking out my pick this week. After hearing Randy talk with Nicole about it on the Light and Shadow podcast, I had to rewatch this in black and white, and it was great. The black and white really cover up the early 2000s CGI. I had forgotten how tense this movie was, and I'm glad I checked it out again. I give The Mist a 3.5 out of 5. Excited to hear what y'all think about it as well. Tell Bob to set his drums up in the woods if he ever wants to chat. Hashtag rock hard for Soju, Randy for Randeezy, and bulging for Bob. Whoa.
The husband bulge.
Well, the fact that we were included means that it's legitimate.
True. Very
Sometimes
true. Awesome.
things are legitimate, sometimes they're not.
Not. As we've learned from The Mist. Yeah, thanks for picking this flick, Brandon. It's a solid ass movie, and hopefully you enjoyed the conversation we had about it. Good shit. Yeah. Feel good movie of the year. Yeah, The Mist.
Oh yeah,
man. If you hate humanity, have I got a movie for you?
This will just solidify it. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and jump into our Rotten Tomatoes segment and see what the critics and users have to say about The Mist.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Rotten Tomatoes segment in which I'm going to give these gentlemen the chance to guess within the best of their abilities what the critics and users think of The Mist in terms of aggregate positive scores on RottenTomatoes.com. Let's see. We've got an esteemed guest here, I might say, who I'm going to start with today. Matt, I'm going to start with you on the critic score. There are, 151 critical reviews here. So keep that in mind as you tell me what you think the aggregate positive score is for The Mist.
I think the critics will be surprised that they didn't pull any punches at the end. I think that'll be refreshing for them. That and like Juice was saying, the CGI for the time probably wasn't that bad, so they probably weren't complaining about it the way we are now. 20 years later. So I'm gonna go with a 90.
Ooh. 90. All right. We'll go over to Bob now since he's in the room as well. Bob, where do you think that aggregate's going to land? You that positive? You that more negative? What are you thinking?
I think I'm going to go a little more negative here because I could see some critics really being sore over how bleak this ending is. So I still pretty positive, but I don't know if it'll be 90. So I'll bring it down and go with a 78.
78. All right. Juice, how about you? Going in
Well,
the middle, you
boys,
going above, you going below?
I think we're gonna have to make a Soju Sammy here because I'm gonna slide right in the middle. I think Matt's probably closer on this one, but I need to give myself a little wiggle room, so I'm gonna go with the boys 86 project, please.
Oh, all right. You're going in there with the project.
Oh yeah.
All right. Well, quick math in my brain here. All right. So the winner of this particular poll is, this particular guess is going to be 5 points off from the actual score. And that person is going to be Bob. It's Bob guessed 78. The correct answer is 73. 73% from the critics.
I know what the critics want. I know what they need.
They want hell skeets.
You're not.
Yes. Precisely.
You have no code. You just dropped a hell skeet and you did not.
For Bob, because he
Oh,
won.
wait, I have it backwards. Well, fuck you anyway.
Randy doesn't know how we play this game.
I don't give a shit about the skeets and yeets. You know this. All right.
The skeets versus the yeets.
Mm-hmm.
Tale as old as time.
Yeah, which side do you fall on?
There's only two answers. It's a binary question.
Do you
Um,
You
skeet
can
or
either
do you
skeet
yeet?
or yeet. There's no in between.
All right, let's move on to our audience score before I read the critics' consensus. There's 100,000 plus audience ratings for this movie. A lot of ratings. So let's go in the reverse order here. Juice, where do you think that those 100,000 users landed?
That's a lot. So, given how bleak this movie is, I bet a lot of people are going to be real sour grapes on this one, to be honest with you. And seeing how low the critics were, I'm just going to lose my faith in humanity just a little bit more. I'm going to go
Wow,
low.
how is that possible?
I'm going to say 56.
56. All right. Well, somehow less faith in humanity than none whatsoever. All right, Bob, you're in the sandwich. You're in the middle of this sandwich this time. Where are you going?
Bob Sando.
Make it extra wet.
A wet sandwich.
Yeah,
Who's
extra
That's up
making
to
your-
you, my guy.
What are you doing to your sandwich? You're throwing it in the toilet?
Like nothing I'd ever smelled before in my life.
Gotta put some mustard on that guy. Gotta put some mayo,
Is that
slather
what
it
you're calling
down.
that shit? Yeah,
Just
yeah.
dipping it in his beer.
Yes.
Dude, it's
Yes.
it's that one you dip in the au jus.
The
sauce.
au
Oh,
jus.
yeah.
Juice is the au jus, as we know.
Meat juice. I'm gonna go higher than juice on this one. That's a pretty large sample size, and this is I don't know. I think it's got some momentum behind it. I think when I hear people talk about it, it tends to be positive. So I'll go with an 85 on this.
85, quite a gap there. Matt, where are you gonna fall? You gonna slide in the middle of that meat or what?
Yeah, I like the meat between some meat. I think
Yes.
with that large of a sample size, there's a lot of people coming to this late. Maybe people spoiled by good CG. Maybe people spoiled by good happy endings that doesn't make them think with their little brains. I'm gonna say 72.
72. All right. Yep. I think that the winner of this is 7 percentage points off. So you guys had a pretty wide gap here. And our esteemed guest Matt is going to take it away on this one. 65%.
Okay.
65.
Nice. Got it.
Nice.
I fucking Space Vampire.
There you go. Matt's
We
got
know.
his own chant.
Hell,
We know.
it's fucking Space Vampire.
Yeah.
Hell.
He's a
Hell.
trailblazer. Not
You'd
too
spuck
many
a base
guests show
vampire
up with their
burger.
own chant. So congrats, Matt.
We expect more from
Oh.
our guests from here on out.
I know. We're gonna start being choosy. Matt
guys
is the
listen.
only one who's
What's
left
your
on the
chant?
list.
You ain't got one? Get lost.
Get the hell out of here.
Well, we're gonna have to delete the whole show now. Sorry.
All right. The critics' consensus going back reads as follows. Frank Darabont's impressive camera work and politically incisive script make The Mist a truly frightening experience. That seems just generally completely positive to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's nothing negative in that. So yeah. And now we're going to do as we always do. We're going to take a look at some of these Rotten Tomato quotes, pull quotes. We're going to find one or two at random and see if there's any humor in them bones.
They're gonna
Let's
be
find out.
hilarious.
These are
I
going to be
just
so
know
funny that I think we're all going to be really mad after we read them. That's how funny they're going to be.
I'm gonna go ahead and hold my gut.
All right. Keep it in place. All right. With all due respect to Stephen King and Frank Darabont, military experiments as a cause for science fiction creatures is yawningly unoriginal. But go see The Mist for Marcia Gay Harden's amazing, chillingly accurate portrayal.
Marcia.
That's a little bit of a mixed bag there.
Yeah. What?
Yawningly unoriginal. It's almost as if
There's
it's
no
you know,
way.
pulling from something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's intentionally derivative.
Totally
Homage,
intentional.
if you will.
Yeah.
Homage.
Yeah. So
I think it's pronounced homage.
It's a homage.
homage. I think
Give me
there's
some
a
of that homage.
porn subcategory called the homage.
You want some homage?
It's just wizards fucking.
Yes.
Yeah.
What are we talking?
It's my
Who
favorite
knows?
homage. The homage.
Yes.
Also, Marcia Gay Harden's performance is amazing, but chillingly accurate portrayal.
Yeah, accurate of like
Seems like he. Do you
yeah,
think
thinks
this
that
happened?
that's how. Yeah,
you
It's so
think this is-
accurate. That's
In
right
this
on.
historical event,
Yeah.
they nailed it.
Right.
Totally nailed it. You know, she's really fits the Carmody persona perfectly. Better than Joaquin as Napoleon for sure. Yeah. All right. Let's find one more before we move on. Darabont and King take the character's fear of the unknown to the extreme with a finale that's emotionally brutal and bordering on sadistic. This doesn't seem like a negative either. You know somebody's done good work when all the negative press about it is like kind of positive, at least partially positive.
Yeah.
I wish I could find one that was just like horribly cruel about it, but
they're really just accurately describing the movie, and I guess they just didn't like what it did. Even though it did her well, they just didn't really like what it did.
There's plenty of Airbuds out there for these people, so
woof
indeed. That's it for our Rotten Tomatoes segment. Bob, I think there might be some trivia for this. You got any more?
Yeah, I got a few more points. Let's get into some trivia.
It's totally time for trivia.
All right, y'all. So this is the third film that Frank Darabont has adapted from Stephen King's work. The other two are The Shawshank Redemption from 1994 and The Green Mile from 1999. Good shit. Like that's a solid trilogy.
Good track record there, my guy.
I think that's the only reason he got to make this. I want to say in that featurette he was like he had to work up to getting The Mist by doing such a good job with Stephen King's other stuff.
Good.
And
Good
he,
for
was
him.
actively pursuing this particular story.
I've actually never seen The Green Mile. Not all the
It's
way
good,
through.
man.
I've seen
That is
pieces of
good.
it. Yeah.
It's good. I think it's probably the lesser of the three for my money, but it's still like pretty high up there for me. I've seen that a number of times.
It has one of the best hateable characters.
Dude,
in a
yeah.
movie.
Oh my God, yes. Percy Wetmore. That son of a bitch.
Wetmore.
Cool.
There's, as we kind of already alluded to, like this whole fucking cast is in The Walking Dead. There's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 characters that are also in The Walking Dead. I won't name them all, but everybody.
Let's name them all.
I forgot Raymond Holt was in this. When I saw him after watching Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's like he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He's the lawyer guy.
Hang on, guys. I got the echo. I got to restart.
Okay.
Hey, while he's restarting, Juice, I have a question.
Yes.
When you said triangle, you said from last year. You're not talking about the triangle, like the Bermuda Triangle ship movie, are you?
Uh-huh.
That wasn't last year. I don't know if you knew that.
It wasn't?
It's like 2009 or something. I looked it
kinda
up.
old.
Yeah, it's 2009.
Oh no. Oh shit. Then I called it the wrong thing. What's that movie with the not the boat? The
Coherence, maybe?
No. They're on the boat. There's a lot of shit. The shit comes out of the toilet.
Oh, Triangle of Sadness.
Triangle of Sadness. I knew Triangle was in there. Yeah.
There's a
Triangle
lot
of
of shit.
That explains it.
That's
okay,
what I was
I wanted to
talking
bring it up. I
about.
didn't want to interrupt your flow.
Shit,
No. I would have cleared. Yeah. Triangle of Sadness.
I was like, I don't remember that movie well enough to contradict what he's saying for sure. But I don't think
The Triangle of Sadness. That's where they break down the
right.
Can't do it.
The roles of society.
roles of society. Yeah.
I like that movie, but I'd much rather rewatch this movie than that movie.
Me too. I liked that movie somewhat. I was kind of conflicted on it. That shift in the middle, it's so weird.
Yeah.
I only watched it the one time, so maybe knowing that that's coming up might make me appreciate it more, but it was weird in the moment, and that shit scene was ridiculous.
I kind of do want to see it a second. Yeah, that scene alone is worth price of admission. But yeah, I don't know. I want to rewatch Triangle too.
Me too.
Fucking movie rules.
I want to rewatch Starry Eyes. I remember we covered
I haven't
that
seen
one
that.
really early, and
we all liked it a lot.
liked it a
I like
lot,
that
yeah.
Esso. Like she's like.
Yeah.
That's what I think of her from more than anything else, which is crazy.
That
She's in a lot
and
of shit.
Oculus, some early ones we did. Oculus and Starry Eyes. I would like to rewatch.
Dude, I just want to rewatch Oculus because I'm like so deep in Flanagan's asshole now. I just want to like
Whoa.
be like.
Katie Sackhoff's coming to town while you'll be here, Juice. If you want to have her sign your Oculus.
Who's coming to town?
Katie Sackhoff. The girl
Oh.
from Ankia.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah.
terrible with the actor's name. Oh, wait, is she coming for something special?
Yeah, she's coming for like Old City Con or Collective Con.
Oh.
She's in the Mandalorian, so I mean, you'll have to stand in line with all the Star Wars people, but you
I
can
thought
get
that
her-
I'm
was
not here
in-
like these nerds. I'm here to talk to you about Oculus.
Horror. I'm here for horror.
You'll make her
Um,
day. She'll be like,
I-
fine.
I thought
might, honestly.
I thought Collective Con was in March.
I'm not sure. Yeah, there's like four conventions here now.
Oh,
So whichever
okay,
one's
okay.
in January.
Okay, I gotcha. Okay.
Oh wait, no, it might be March. I think you're right. Fuck, I'm sorry. I got your hopes up.
Damn.
Now you're
Damn
I'm
it.
just being cruel. I'm just being cruel.
Just
So
fomenting that FOMO.
Matt,
How
I
are
would
you guys?
prefer your autograph over anybody famous. I'm not an autograph
Aw.
guy.
Dude,
Sign is
I
one
gotta
year.
rewatch Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey too. That fucking movie.
You guys
rules.
ready to jump back in?
Yes.
We're ready.
Okay,
We're ready.
here we go. All right. Yeah, another bit of trivia. So obviously, when the movie opens up, you see he's painting something on his little easel, and it's
Oh, yeah.
a Dark Tower poster. And that was actually painted by Drew Struzan, who is an artist who's famous for doing his movie posters like that. He painted Star Wars, Indiana Jones, Harry Potter, The Thing, Blade Runner.
He's what definitely
kinds
like
of
the
shit.
best known poster artist outside
Yeah.
from maybe Saul Bass. Like he's a figure.
I waited for
that-
the.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I waited for the lightning to strike in
Mhm.
that scene of that room and paused it so I could look at all those posters. And he has The Thing and the Gunslinger, which you already mentioned. He also has one of Peter Pan holding a red balloon right next to one of a French clown, which I'm guessing is for Pennywise
Yeah.
and Georgie.
Yeah.
And then there's one for Pan's Labyrinth and the Shawshank Redemption in there.
Damn,
Wow.
Hell yeah.
a
Cool.
lot of shit.
You know that I mean I know they were heavily hinting that about the Dark Tower series by just highlighting that one as the one he's painting,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so-
for sure.
which sad news, but didn't pan out with that one.
Yeah. Norm, your boy Norm, is wearing a T-shirt from WKIT Radio in Bangor, Maine, and this is one of 3 actual radio stations owned by Stephen King.
It's in Bangor. He owns it. I'm pretty sure he just owns that whole town.
In
Like a child
controlling the
prince.
media.
Apparently, I didn't know he owned any radio stations. That's interesting.
We
The
should
last bit,
invest in some radio stations, boys.
yeah, totally. Let's just do
Yeah.
it.
They're on the
You're-
on the up and
On
Your
the- on the
Patreon
rise.
dollars that were yeah. That's a safe business model.
Spending the money.
Let's go
wisely.
AM. They won't be expecting it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The last bit of trivia I have is apparently it took 4 days to record the commentary track for this movie with Frank Darabont. And that is also apparently pretty fast for old Darabont because it took him 9 months to record the Green Mile track,
Jesus Christ.
commentary track. I don't know
Huh.
why that is, but
Yeah,
I
what
don't
the
know
fuck?
either.
I guess he's
He's a busy man.
yeah, I don't know. Like
Or he's a stickler and he's like, man, that sounded too dumb just then.
maybe,
Yeah,
yeah, or like
re-record it again.
he forgot to say something. So
Let me do another
take.
take on that commentary. Let me do another take.
Dude, that
Roll
Green
it back.
Mile commentary must be the fucking best commentary ever recorded in life. Like, I have to get 9 months? Holy shit.
I think we all know that Jacko is that, but
Dude, it fucking is. I agree. Listen to the Jacko commentary and you will shit in your pants. Have you ever
that's
listened
the
to
Bob
that?
guarantee.
I heard you talk about it and I was like, I don't want to shit my pants.
Dude.
Yeah, Bob says it
yeah.
like it's a positive thing. The rest of us feel like that's a negative.
Once I
Dude.
pooped in my pants in school and I just left it in all day.
You leave it in all day.
That's what you gotta do if you're
You gotta
committed.
do it. You got to do it.
You're committed to the bit. What? It was a joke. I shit my pants. Come on.
Isn't it funny? Smell how funny that is?
Anyways, you know what we got to do is we got to get into our cooter of the week.
Ooh, I think we do.
Straight chillin'. Gooder of the week.
Juice, what is a cooter and why do we hunt them?
Oh, Cooter's a character type and a straight chillin' exclusive. Cooter must hit these 3 of these 5 points to be considered a cooter. We want the cooter with the most points. The 5 points of cooterdom are Matt. Take it away.
Oh shit!
On the spot.
Oh,
Looking attire.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, that's good. Sexual deviance.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna say. I'm drawing a blank. You got me. Yeah. Overall sleaziness. That's not one.
Oh, you gotta get out. Sorry, buddy.
I'll
Later.
see y'all next week.
Manipulation. We got manipulation, smug arrogance, and overall patheticness.
Yep.
Was that all
That's
the
the
5?
five.
Looking attire.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got looking attire.
Yeah.
Yep.
And there's no cooters in this movie whatsoever. Let's just move right along.
Okay, let's go
Ooh.
with the big monster at the end. Looking attire.
oh yeah. He really shouldn't be wearing those tentacles in this after Labor Day.
I'm
It's just
pretty
really
sure
not a
those
good
are
look.
dicks.
Those are all
They're
dicks.
all dicks.
Well,
Too
so we
many
got
dicks.
sexual deviance. This is the source of all tentacle porn.
Just bang on the Jeep.
Oh my lord.
All across the roof.
So let's go with the most obvious one of the old religious bish.
Carmody.
Carmody, yeah.
So smug arrogance.
Ooh.
Check-a-rooney.
Yeah. Yeah.
When she tells Andrea like that
Yeah.
line, or she's like, it's so like counter the character, and it's the only time she really like does like just goes
Breaks,
full
right, yeah.
vulgar and like breaks and just says what she really thinks outright.
She said something along the lines of like, if I ever need a friend like you, I'll squat and shit one out.
I'll just have a little
Yeah.
squat and shit one out.
Shit
I'm like,
one
oh
right
my
out.
god,
God,
how
did
long has
I-
that been in the chamber, Carmen?
Did I miss the detail of why she hates her so much?
I think she just hates her.
I think she
She's
just
a
yeah.
bitch. Yeah.
She's just
guess,
a judgmental bitch. Yes,
Damn.
like she's just a judgmental
Like I
piece
know,
of
but
shit.
it's not even like I was like, oh, is there some secret detail about, this
No.
woman sleeps around or or something,
She's a standoffish person who like that's before she gains the modicum of power
yeah.
that allows her to
Okay.
run train on everybody's psyche.
So
Run train.
speaking of running train manipulation,
Oh
Oh,
my
Jen.
goodness.
Definitely check.
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
manipulates everyone to kill a man, sacrifice,
Hot tub Christianity.
and tried to grab a child. So
Tried to
that's not cool.
sacrifice a young child because she didn't like his dad.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
pathetic.
That sounds
Can we add
pathetic
that?
to me.
Yeah, I think we just eased right into patheticness.
Yeah, pathetic. Yeah, because she's really. Well, I don't know though. We said she's right all the time.
Yeah,
Being
but it's
right
like
doesn't-
happenstance though. I mean, she's not really right. Like God is.
Juice, I want
favoring
to hear your
her.
full argument as to why you think that's true.
I'm just
Don't
saying.
don't fall into the trap of defending an indefensible position here, Bob.
I mean, I'm just saying. She's right, and she would have lived if Ollie hadn't shot her.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying.
Ollie's a
I'm
real
just
piece
saying.
of shit for murdering that sweet old lady.
Nah, that was one of the most satisfying deaths that I
Oh,
have
yeah.
experienced
Yep.
in film. That's
When
great.
Thomas Jane said thank you, I felt
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah.
Ollie. Yeah.
Thanks, Ollie.
Thanks, Ollie. Yeah. Speaking of, we didn't say this, but Tom Jane should be in more shit. He's fucking
Yeah,
great
he
in
does a
this.
good
Yeah.
job. He
I
always
have not
does it.
seen him.
Even in
I've never seen him
like,
do a bad
Punisher,
job. In
He's,
him.
yeah, he does a
He's
good
Punisher was
job.
fucking
great,
Scott
yeah.
Pilgrim for like 2 seconds, uncredited. He's great.
I don't remember that.
He's a vegan
rewatch it. You'll
police.
see him.
He's a what?
He's one of the vegan police. Yeah.
Oh, weird. So yeah, looking at Tyra, was she wearing anything weird? I feel like she should have been, but I can't picture
I think
anything.
she's just
was
wearing
wearing-
like
Old lady garb.
In the
String.
book, she has a canary yellow Hillary Clinton power suit on.
Whoa,
That's fantastic.
Really?
Yeah, which is
Damn.
weird.
I love that.
that is weird. I don't know if I like that
That's-
as much, but I think
Nah,
it's
yeah.
Well,
it
the book
adds a
takes place in the
layer to it.
80s, so
Oh,
yeah, because he wrote it in
Oh.
the 80s. It felt like a
Gotcha.
parody piece.
If she was like doing a Tammy Faye Baker sort of like power suit look,
Mhm.
maybe.
Like she was on the set of Designing Women. That's what I was.
gotcha.
Okay. I guess I could see that. I like what we got though. It's like
Yeah,
be too much
Well,
color for this movie.
I think
I
she's
think
got
she-
3 out of 5.
I think
at
she hits
least.
enough. Yeah,
Sexual
Yeah.
deviance, yeah, is the only one where she's
Yeah.
like
sexual
very
deviance. She
much-
just calls that chick a whore. She's really kind of focused on that, but other than that, yeah, not really.
Yeah.
Oh, the only other person that kind of came to my mind was that guy who's the kind of bumpkin guy who convinces
William
the,
Sadler.
Yeah, convinces the kid to kind of go out or whatever.
Should've
Pathetic.
said what you meant.
Oh
babe.
yeah, I would say
absolute patheticness is his biggest crime. Like he's
Yeah.
got arrogance for sure
Yeah.
as well. In the beginning, certainly but that sheds away real quick, and he just becomes pathetic little groveling bastard the rest of the movie.
Little bastard, man.
Little bastard.
Just a little bastard.
He doesn't have look and attire, no sexual deviance, I don't think. Manipulation, kind of. You could say the way they kind of manipulate the kid to kind of go out there a little bit.
Well, and he tattles and gets them like
That's
fucked
true,
over in the end.
He does
too.
I
don't know.
Yeah, maybe not strong enough.
I
Could
honestly
rely-
think the acolytes of Carmody belong in the cell with her. Honestly, by the end,
Yeah,
the ones that are
that's
still
true.
there, like we don't get any definitive claim as to whether they live or not at the end, which is one of the interesting things about this movie. But if we did get like, I hope they got thrown in fucking jail.
We'll
Trying to
take
sacrifice
Carmody and
motherfuckers.
crew. Lock them up.
Yep.
Lock
I think
them up.
I think that's good.
All right.
Good work, boys. Good work.
Yep.
Let's finally relax a little bit and talk about what we've been watching this.
Hey, gang, what you been watching?
Oh, I can relax.
Finally. Matt,
Oh.
why don't you kick us off, man? You been watching anything else cool this week?
Yeah, I watched. I rewatched Fire in the Sky. It was a original HBO movie before they really did that about alien abduction that took place in the 70s. It shows his age, but it was actually a lot better than I remembered it being, because when I watched it as a kid, I didn't understand all the adult stuff going on. But yeah, it holds up really, really well.
I gotta watch that. I've never seen it.
Yeah,
Me neither.
the T-1000, the bad guy Terminator's in it.
Robert Patrick, Henry
yeah.
Thomas is in it. Oh, and James Garner. That's a pretty good cast.
Yeah, it's a real good cast, and and then it sent me down a rabbit hole where I went and looked all that stuff up, what really happened and everything. Apparently, it's the most believable case of alien abduction.
Damn.
You know, it's the most believable case out there. You have like 4 people corroborating the same story. They've all taken lie detector tests. They gained nothing from it. It actually ruined their life. And they're like, so if they were lying, they have all the reasons to stop lying, and they none of them. So yeah, it was pretty cool.
Any anal?
How many of them?
How many of them got anal probe?
Yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't there, but I'm guessing all of them.
Type.
If not before, then certainly after at the conventions.
Yeah. It's a Patreon
That's what
fee.
they're there to gain, you know.
Mm-hmm.
What stuff?
Little
I
anal
also-
satisfaction.
I started watching a YouTube channel called AJ Pickett, it's the Mighty Glue Stick channel, and he just goes over D&D lore and religion and like talks about like it's a serious real world thing, and like he'll just be like, this is the demon lord Pazuzu in Dungeons and Dragons, and this is what he does, and this is where he lives, and this is his wife's name, and this is his credit card number. Like, and it's amazing, like the in depth, because all that lore's been coming out since the early 70s, and it's scattered over thousands of books, and he like pushes it all together and puts it in an orderly form for you to follow it.
Damn.
And he
What's his
reads
name?
it to you. AJ Pickett. He's New Zealand, so it's also in a cool accent.
That's the best.
There's a similar guy who does the same sort of thing with other properties like Game of Thrones is one. Like he covers the books, the movies, and all different like character by character things like that, called Alt X. So recommendation there for you.
Thank you.
Like all other things as well. I don't know, just like it's good.
And my last thing is I started following an Instagram page called Day X of the Apocalypse, and it's just an apocalyptic fashion page where like they're like, this is a cool jacket you might have in the apocalypse. I made it, and they're all amazing. So if you like this movie or post-apocalyptic stuff, and you want to see what a cute skirt might look like in that setting, go to that page, check it out.
Sweet.
That's all I got.
Tentacles hanging off. And
Yeah,
shit?
sometimes.
Rad. All right. Ray and Deezy, what you been watching?
Quick correction, Alt-Shift-X is this person's name, and the most recent explainer video is Game of Bones Explained, which is the porn parody of Game of Thrones. I need to watch that. It's only 5 minutes long.
All right.
Game of Bones.
Explain it.
I don't know how you explain such a thing. Anyway, yes, I don't have a very long list because I had an extremely long week of, helping people get married and shit, and then holiday shit and other stuff. Really intervened. So I really only have two things. One is I rewatched the Into the Dark entry called Pilgrim for the Thanksgiving holiday, and it's not a perfect movie by any fucking stretch. It's extremely, extremely flawed. It's very CW for a lot of it, but I really like at least one of the actors in that movie, the sort of a central villain. And I don't know, some of the bizarre editing starts to come into its own once the action picks up. I kind of like it. It's fun it's fun sort of movie you can throw on and don't look at too closely. And then the only other thing is I listened to a podcast, which is ultimately a book on tape, or book on recording, just turned into a podcast by a comedian I like called Joe Firestone. She wrote a murder mystery novel, which is also available in print, called Murder on Sex Island. And it is like I said, a murder mystery set on a reality show called Sex Island, which I'm still not 100% sure if it is a real thing or not. It sounds like it could definitely be real, but also I don't know. But it's like partially funny, but it is a true, honest to God murder mystery in sort of the vein of like a Poirot or something like that. But obviously a little more silly and a lot more ridiculous, and but not really super heightened reality in a way that goes beyond those sort of books. So it's just got funnier commentary, really, and a very interesting voice to it. I had a good time listening to that. We listened to that on the road, long road trips this week to see family and friends. And yeah, I'd recommend that. Other than that, really don't have anything else to add.
Right on. Juice, what you been watching?
A lot of Christmas stuff, mostly Christmas horror. I watched Advent Calendar, which is a French film that actually was surprisingly good. Kind of got like a little Hellraiser influence, kind of, but yeah, it's about a girl who gets a haunted Advent calendar that's like really coolly like designed, and it's just, yeah, that was a solid movie. Silent Night, the one that's on our poll right now, hadn't seen that before, and much like this movie is quite bleak, but I like that one pretty good too. Surprisingly good on that one. A Christmas Horror Story, not as good, mixed bag on that one. Some good, some really bad, but it's kind of fun. That one's okay. We watched Elf when we were with Bob, and Bigfoot Monster Mystery. Gotta love it.
You gotta ring in your wedding night in the right fashion.
You gotta. There's no other way to spend your wedding night than watching Bigfoot Monster Mystery with your boys.
Go to bed, hon. We got work to put in here.
I watched the Jim Carrey Christmas Carol, which I think is my least favorite that comes to mind Christmas Carol adaptation. My dad kind of digs it, so it's always on during the holidays, and it's on like one of the streaming services. And it's not the worst thing ever. That kind of CGI, I don't like it. And they do some weird interpretations for some of like the Ghost of Christmas Past is super weird in that one. Don't like it. Watch Batman Returns. Love that movie. It's so weird, and I love how drenched in Christmas it is. Covered that one with G Baby last year for Creature Comfort. So yeah, really fun revisiting that one. Watch The Nun, Deuce. Jesus Christ. I don't know how you make such a boring film. Like,
it's bad.
Damn.
Dude, the ending is boring as fuck, you're right. But the ending turns into this like action-y Marvel kind of like super villain thing that's like,
that's what the Conjuring universe has been inching towards since the beginning.
Oh
honestly.
My god, it's terrible.
Fucking
they
dumb.
sucked any kind of terror or horror that the Conjuring 2 created for that. Ugh.
The nun's face is just fucking right there, just so often. It's terrible.
So bad. I watched Harry Potter Deuce, which I was kind of singing the praises of Harry Potter 1 last week because it's kind of the first one is charming. They're so young. Harry Potter 2 has all the negatives that Harry Potter 1 has, but it loses its appeal. I think it's my least favorite Harry Potter movie. So that one's low on the list. I watched Body, which is a Christmas film that Bob recommended, actually, and it was on one of our poll. I had known it because I think he put it on a poll a couple years ago when I think maybe Rare Exports one or whatever. But yeah, that one was surprisingly good and also very uncomfortable. It was kind of a hard watch, honestly.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
Is that another Into the Dark?
No,
that right?
It's its own, it's its own thing. And then finally, I watch Simpsons Thanksgiving, which we did a bonus episode with Warren on Simpsons is Greater Than last year, 2 years ago. I don't know. I haven't rewatched it since we covered it with him. And
2 years, I think.
2 years ago. And I don't remember what I thought about it at the time, but it wasn't that great rewatching it. But it is Thanksgiving horror themed for The Simpsons. So that in itself is special. It's got some okay things, but mostly it was like kind of negative this watch around. But still, that exists is cool. I'm down with it. But yeah, that's all I've been watching. Bob, what you been watching, my guy?
Not a ton of stuff. Been relatively busy here as of late, but did get into some Christmas holiday time stuff. Watched Blood Rage on Thanksgiving, and also watched Home Alone. And that might be about it, honestly. We went to Helen, Georgia this past weekend. It's like a small German Christmassy type town, and started getting in the spirit of the holiday proper with German food. You know, that's how you.
That's where you're from,
Christmas.
Bob. That's your heritage.
That's my heritage. Yeah, it was a good
Your family
time,
fled there around the 30s or something like that, right?
but,
Where were they running from, Bob?
nothing major was happening. Nothing crazy. Yeah, that's really it, man. That's about all I've been watching. A little bit of the Sopranos here and there for filler, but you know, that's about it.
Yeah.
Let's get into our final segment of the show, our hotline screams.
Hotline scream.
If you are listening, would like to call in and leave a voicemail to be featured on next week's show, you can hit us up at 904-638-3231. We have one voicemail this week from Leslie. Let's hear what she's got to say.
Hey guys. Hey Straight Chillin' Crew. This is Leslie. Long time no talk to. Up in Bend, Oregon. I'm just calling the night before Thanksgiving to wish you guys a happy Thanksgiving. By the time you get this, it'll already be over. I have a little bit of a cold, so I probably sound a little nasally. That's all right. I'm just still at work. Everybody else has gone home early, except me. Anyway, I just wanted to congratulate Rob on his wedding. That's really great. And yeah, congratulations, dude. That's awesome. And I wanted to tell you that I loved the episode you guys had on Fear, that movie Fear, because I remember seeing it like a couple of times, and you guys just honestly cracked me up. That was a great episode. And does anybody remember? Do you guys remember the Breakfast Club, that movie, and the weird girl was Ali Sheedy? So I just got done watching Appendage, and I swear I could have sworn that the girl that plays Claudia in that movie, I swear I could have sworn it was her. It looks just exactly like her, but it's not. I just was like, I don't know, I was really surprised because that wasn't her, but it looks just exactly like her. Anyway, I don't know if you remember that actress or not, but, and Yeah, so I just wanted also to say to Mr. Janus that you have a bit of a neck and neck going here, probably for one of your oldest listeners. I think probably. So we're kind of late bloomers on the horror thing. Anyway, love your podcast. Love you guys. Have a great Thanksgiving. And I won't wait so long next time. All right? Bye.
We got a real raising contingent of silver cooters out there. I really love it. They're our faves.
Yeah.
Thanks for calling, Leslie. I'm trying to remember appendage.
Yeah, we saw that at
That's
the
the one we saw at the.
Overlook.
Yeah, I don't remember Ali Sheedy being in it, but I don't know that I would have recognized her now.
I
I'm looking it up.
wouldn't have clocked her, Randy.
I hope she's doing
No,
okay.
somebody named Emily
I hope
Hampshire.
so too.
Oh
I
no,
like
that
to
was
think
the.
she is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the girl from Schitt's Creek. Actually, that she was in that.
I still never seen it.
Yeah, me neither.
She's Stevie from Schitt's Creek. She was in the movie Appendage. She does kind of look like Ali Sheedy a bit.
Nice.
But yeah.
Well,
So
thanks for calling in, Leslie, and thank you for the congratulations. Janus, she's coming for your card, man. Your big old Janus card.
I don't know. Janus is old as shit.
Yeah.
Allegedly, I don't think we really know how old
We have no
really
idea.
anybody is. But
we need to have an in my day off. Call in and so
40s,
deep 40s, older than dirt. Deep
Wow.
40s.
Damn.
Yeah, we gotta call in and prove that you're the oldest listener.
We need date of
Straight
birth,
Chilling.
social security numbers.
Credit cards.
Yeah. You need to send us go to your nearest Publix, find some iTunes gift cards. Now bring those to us and send us the code.
We'll
And
give you
then
the cash
we'll know who's the
value
real.
plus 25% after.
Look, I just have to send it through my home government and they'll get it back to you ASAP. I promise.
Janus did write up like a tight 5-minute bit about how old he was, and it was convincing. It was fairly convincing.
Look, whoever brings the best limerick or whatever about being an older person, they get the crown. Those are the rules that I just made up. I can't.
Jesus fucking Christ.
We used to do drawings. Cave drawings.
God damn. We need Alan Shimper to call in.
It's not the appropriate season, boys. We gotta stop right now.
Oh no.
It's
The
not
Iron
summertime.
Fist has clamped down. I don't know. There might be a fir tree in there, so it's a secret Christmas movie.
Sneaky Christmas. Good point, Randy. Good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, call in 904-638
Wet Hot American Summer, famous Christmas film.
3231. You guys have any other prompts you want to throw out for next week?
I don't know. Like,
you got one, Matt?
Yeah,
Matt?
Does anyone have any like spooky Christmas decorations? Like, do you have like little skulls in your tree, or like is your wreath full of cockroaches? Like,
oh god,
I think
my wreath is full of cockroaches.
Damn, I think
that's
me
not a
sweet
spooky.
little,
That's not a choice, really.
a trick or treat ornament for my tree. I believe, yeah. And I also have like a Jack Skellington little pumpkin deal. I got a few. A little
Can't believe
bit.
you would blend seasons like that.
That goddamn wreath full of cockroaches is so
That's
wrecking.
that's such an
wrecking
interesting
my
choice.
shit. God damn it. Nightmare
Leave the
fuel.
sugar out for the cockroaches.
Jesus Christ.
Sandy's cockroaches are coming tonight. Leave something out for them.
The cookies are all ate up by the fucking roaches.
We can't leave the cookies out. You know the roaches will get
They'll
them.
swarm, honey. They'll swarm. They always do.
Damn.
God damn.
Jesus Christ.
That's an
That is
interesting question, though.
disturbing.
That's a good
It's
question. There's a lot of
fucked
people
up,
do
yeah.
like I've been seeing like Michael's and all these places are selling like shit for Halloween trees.
Yeah.
That shit rubs me wrong, but I could maybe see it the other way around.
Oh, who's the stickler now, Randy?
Oh.
I have a preference, not an iron fist, my
I had
guy.
I had a bunch of rubber rats in my jack-o'-lanterns, and I just put them in the tree.
Nice.
I didn't want to put them
Full
up,
of
so I
cockroaches.
just shoved them in there.
Just yeah. Really, your theme is pests this year for Christmas.
Gracious. Yeah, call in 904-638-3231. Let us know how old you are, or if you got any spooky Christmas decorations, let us know. We're going to be back next week with a brand new show, as always. We're talking about that new Godzilla movie, Godzilla Minus One, that's going to be hitting theaters this Friday. Check it out.
Excited.
Nice.
The buzz is for real about that one.
Yeah.
The trailer looks cool.
It looks
I
awesome.
haven't seen it, and I'm kind of glad I haven't.
It looks solid. It really does.
Dude, there's like some kind of King Kong creature coming in. It's like, no, I'm just.
Oh, Kong versus Godzilla.
He's got a
They would
hammer
never do
or
that.
something.
How could
I
that
don't-
fail?
It can't. Oh man, yeah. Check out Godzilla Minus One. Get ready for next week's show. Matt, thanks again for sitting in
Thank
with
you,
us,
Matt.
Awesome. Thank y'all for having me. This has been a blast.
Buddy. Yeah, dude, it's always fun. Do you want to just remind everybody where they can find your Sword School and show one more time?
Yes, the podcast is Swords in Stereo. We talk about historical fencing in the German tradition. And my school is Old City Longsword in Jacksonville, Florida. If you want to learn how to use a sword or a rapier or how to wrestle, come on by.
Whoa. This is a family show. You can't be saying those words. Okay. The algorithm's going to fuck us.
You're going to get stabbed.
Hurtfully. Yeah, Godzilla Minus One next week. Check out Matt Sword School and Sword Podcast. If you want to find us on social media, search Straight Chilling Podcast. We'll pop right up. If you want to join us on our Slack channel, our daily Slack channel conversations, hit us up on one of those social media outlets. And just say you want to join, I'll send you a link so that you can. And until next week, as always, all you mother truckers, please keep chilling.
Hail Satan, and have a lovely afternoon, madam.